A LeBron James triple-double leads the Lakers to a win Thursday night. They head into the break 33-21. We'll tell you why you should feel good. We'll tell you why you shouldn't feel good. You get to decide. That's next.
You are Locked On Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks to everybody for making Locked On Lakers first listen of every day, Monday through Friday, no matter how or where you get your podcasts. So maybe you're a Spotify guy, maybe you're an Apple guy, maybe you're one of the 37,000 plus subscribers to the Locked On Lakers YouTube channel. No matter how you do it, no matter how you get in this podcast, which now appears weekdays, Mondays, Fridays, twice a day. There's a lot of content here, people.
We're like a high school football team doing 2-a-days.
Yeah, it's training camp time, except training camp lasts like 8 months.
Just 8? What are you talking about?
We are not doing 2 shows a day in the off season. We're not.
Yeah, hear that, David Locke? We're not doing it.
You hear that, Locke? That's right. Come and get me. You know what? Why don't you concern yourself with your team that keeps getting fined? Okay. Why don't you get your guys on the floor in the fourth quarter and leave our summer plans alone? Anywho, I forget where I was. Locked On Lakers, 37,000. So I'm Brian Kamenetsky with Andy Kamenetsky. Covered the team for about 20 years with the ESPN, the LA Times, the Athletic. This is always an interesting.
And now we are with, by the way, the #1 sports podcast network.
That's what I forgot. I got sidetracked.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's going to stay that way even if we only do 1 show a day this summer. So throughout the time, Andy, that we've covered the Lakers and the NBA, it has become abundantly clear that the last day before the All-Star break is essentially like the last, like you used to treat you out there, and you, Andy, used to treat the last day of school. It's like you're there, but you're not always there. So we will break down what turned into a good result for the Lakers Thursday night. They beat Dallas 124-104 behind a triple-double from LeBron James. We'll give you some health updates on Luka Dončić and Deandre Ayton, neither of whom played in this game. And, of course, the Lakers go into the break 33-21, which is good, and it's also worrisome depending on your point of view. So, but let's start with the game, Andy. LeBron James turns back the clock. This was, as complete of a game as he's played this season. He finishes with 28 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists, and he knew that 10th rebound, what it represented. Nobody getting in the way of that one. Stole one from him. Yeah,
I was going to say, ain't nobody getting in the way of it after Austin Reeves did get in the way of LeBron's previous chance at a 10th rebound. There happened to be a timeout called after that, and Austin apologized to LeBron. He did not realize in the moment, these guys are all aware, whether you're talking about the player on the verge of a triple-double, a lot of teammates, stuff like that, Austin just forgot in that moment. But when LeBron, it was like a possession or two later, got that 10th rebound, the entire bench stood up and applauded. It was LeBron's. I actually did not realize this, even though it makes sense. I just hadn't really thought about it. It was his first triple-double of this season. Yeah, he's come close before, but he had not had one. Bonkers stat, and we can drill down on some of this, peel back some of the layers of the onion. This is career number 123 for triple-doubles for LeBron. Tonight marked LeBron's 1,598th game for his career. I did the math. That means LeBron has averaged a triple-double every 13th time he has stepped on the court.
Pretty good.
That is effing bonkers, people.
It's right up there with those numbers like you see where they break it down and you realize LeBron has played with or against 33% of the players who have played in the NBA in its entire history.
You know what's funny too? During the Spectrum Sportsnet broadcast, they noted that it was the 123rd of LeBron's career and that he's had 50 against the Lakers. And I thought about it and I was like, you know what? You and I
50 triple doubles?
Assuming I
No,
heard it,
there's no way LeBron has had 50 triple doubles against the Lakers.
then I guess I
Maybe
misheard.
maybe with, but not against.
Okay, yes, that's what it was. 50. I guess it was 50 with. It was. You're right. You're right.
It's not JJ Barea, Andy.
No.
He works the Lakers like
no.
that.
You're correct. He had spent too much time in the Eastern Conference, but just 50 with.
Yeah, only he played the Lakers 50 times.
Yeah, no. You're right. You're right. But 50 just with one team in and of itself is absolutely crazy. Like that type of production sustained for that long goes without saying. Also, the oldest player in NBA history to ever record a triple double. It's really, really remarkable stuff.
It is. And I know there are a lot of people who aren't huge LeBron fans and are ready for the experience to be over. And look, Andy, and I get it. We have these conversations with each other, with you guys all the time. But there are times when you just have, like, whether you like the guy or hate the guy, you have to pause and recognize what games like this are. I do also want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. I bet you wish you'd use Game Time to get into the game at the Crypt on Thursday. JJ talked about it after the game. The oldest guy to do blank is something that LeBron does basically every time he plays at this point. And it's all very impressive, but and LeBron got a little nostalgic about this stuff too, and kind of broke it all down and talked about the process of what goes into this and what he still enjoys after the game. But JJ said, and he said it a few times, like, I am most impressed by the fact that in year 23, with like $1 billion in the bank, like, basically, I'm exaggerating. Like,
if you believe the reports, it's not an exaggeration at all.
Right. And let's say they're 30% short, he's still comfortable.
I mean, his career earnings, I'm looking them up right now. I believe the career earnings are like $500 million by themselves. And that's before you even get into endorsements, per diem that he's pocketed, all that sort of stuff.
That actually, I was trying to figure out the other day exactly the volume of chalk that he has thrown in the air over the course of his career, figuring it like 2 teaspoons or a teaspoon and a half or a tablespoon every game. Like, just the quantity of chalk that is over the course of 23 seasons. Like, they're just, all of these numbers are just absolutely freaking insane. But JJ talked about, like, the fact
that's close to, really quick, it's close to $600 billion per Basketball Reference in salary alone. And that's before you get to all the other stuff.
And think how much it would be if he had a podcast.
Well, he did for a little while.
That's true. You got to sustain it. The big money, Andy, as everyone knows, comes in when you sustain it.
Right.
When you shows a day.
Exactly. Exactly. That's how you end up part of the #1 sports network anyway.
That's right. You're adding shorts. You're doing a lot of shorts. Short form content.
When me, you, and LeBron get together, that's a lot of billions getting thrown around.
It is. Just the fact that you care, like, you still care enough to kind of do the work that it requires to be good and engaged and all the. It's insane. And look, no Luka in this game, no DeAndre Ayton in this game. The Lakers got actually a lot of good performances across the roster. I think a bunch of people played well in this game, but they needed somebody to kind of step up and do it. And like we talked about this in Thursday's show, like, LeBron, I think, can't be counted on. It's unfair to count on LeBron to do this kind of stuff every night like he used to in his prime of primes. His floor on a nightly basis is clearly lower than it used to be from 48 minutes. Yeah, it's not necessarily lower for like 12 minutes of a quarter. He can crank. We've seen him crank that up. But when it appears, it's still there. And there are nights. Tonight was a good one where they absolutely needed it.
And it also helped too. Really quick, it also helped, and I'm sure we'll talk about this after the break. LeBron got some nice support on a night where he was definitely leading the charge but it didn't feel like he was carrying the team. And there's a big difference because that ultimately allows LeBron to be this version of himself.
Yeah, and I want to get into some of those performances because, Austin Reeves had a perfectly nice game, still working with those restrictions and stuff like that coming off the bench, which hopefully, by the way, by the time we get back from the All-Star break will be over. But, it wasn't AR with 38 points or something like that was helping support LeBron. It was the other guys around the roster. We'll break down some of those good performances and tell you why this one was a bit of a roller coaster that had JJ Redick fuming at halftime. So that's all next.
Locked on Lakers is brought to you by FanDuel. The winter games are officially here. And if you're anything like us, you are locking in for events that you can only see on the biggest stage every 4 years. And that's why following the winter games on FanDuel, it makes sense, from medal counts to individual events to finding your angle on the sports that you care about most. FanDuel gives you more ways to stay connected to the action. Like suddenly curling matches are going to contain incredible intensity and excitement, even if you don't quite understand how curling works. Related note, I actually thought about this when I saw some curling going on. I don't know if LeBron ice skates, but he's such an incredible athlete. I would love to see the process we hear about him with golf, like doing ice skating. Like how quickly could LeBron just pick up ice skating because he's such an incredible athlete. Curling becomes must watch when you're fully locked in the competition. FanDuel keeps the Olympic experience engaging from start to finish. The winter games, they are on. There's no better way to follow them than with FanDuel. FanDuel, play your game.
Locked on Lakers also brought to you by Indeed. Hiring isn't just about finding somebody willing to take the job. It's about finding the right person with the right background who can actually help your business move forward. And if you want the candidates who match what you're looking for, Indeed sponsored jobs is the move, because instead of hoping the right person stumbles across your post, Indeed helps you match with quality candidates by boosting your job listing to the people who fit your specific criteria, skills, certification, location, salary, range, and all that kind of stuff. Look, if you're hiring, you want somebody who is going to be able to, not just help, but like jump right in because they've got the right experience. They've got the right, qualities that you need to help you right away, as opposed to after 6 months of training or something like that. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute that we've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all of your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of this show will get $75 sponsored job credit to help you get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. It's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. You think LeBron will need to fill out a resume, like sort of put his CV together for his post-career work?
It depends what the career is.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Mr. James, LeBron James. Okay. The Lakers frustrated the bleep out of JJ Redick in the first half of this game because every time it looked like they were going to pull ahead, build a lead, they gave it up. Like it was a weird game to watch because the Lakers they weren't turning the ball over. They weren't doing the things that they often do, Andy, that are obvious. That's why the other team's back in the game. They just sort of took their foot off the gas, looked ahead to the break, whatever it was in that first half. And it prevented them from building and maintaining a comfortable lead. And like I said, JJ at halftime was livid.
So livid, in fact, that he did not do the standard halftime couple questions with our buddy Mike Trudell for the Spectrum Sportsnet broadcast, which, forget the fact that I've never seen JJ Redick do that before. I don't recall a coach ever doing that before. Like, maybe it's happened, but off the top of my head, and you and I have covered this team for a long time, I don't recall a Lakers coach ever saying, nope, not doing it because I'm too pissed off.
I am too. They always say, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. But, as they come out in the third quarter, JJ was asked about this. So, what did you tell them at the half? We challenge the typical stuff. We challenge them to be better. We challenge them to be more consistent defensively. And in the second half, the Lakers gave up 41 points, 19 in the third, 22 in the fourth. Like, that was a much better defensive performance, and that's what allowed them. The third quarter, they won handily. They build out a lead, and they didn't let Dallas back in at that point. You mentioned some good performances. I know there were a few that stuck out to me, but where would you want to start in terms of like the really good supporting performances in this one?
I thought Jaxson Hayes was terrific in this game. 16 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, a block, countless other shots that he altered in the lane. I thought he was super, super active on both ends of the floor. There was a sequence where he, I believe, missed either he or someone else missed a shot at the rim, and Jaxson got back fast enough that he actually broke up an alley-oop lob at the other basket because he just hauled ass back so quickly. And then I'm pretty sure, is off the top of my head, but Jaxson ended up scoring on the next possession. He had several really emphatic dunks in this game. This was just a really, really good performance. Maybe a show topic for a different day, but it did get me wondering, given what's been going on with DeAndre Ayton and his inconsistencies over the last month and a half, which, side note, I mentioned this in Thursday's show. I have wondered if maybe, given now that DeAndre has missed 3 of the last 4 games because of this lingering knee soreness and 5 games due to knee soreness in 2026, if maybe the knee soreness might be what's fueling this inconsistency more than what the DeAndre Ayton skeptics automatically assume, which is just reversion to form. But regardless, it has got me wondering if Jaxson would be more reliable, both, I guess, most importantly in JJ Redick's eyes, but also, I guess, in ours, trying to prognosticate if, say, if they needed to give him a larger role in the playoffs, would he be more capable of handling it in this postseason than last?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll do that for Friday's mini show. So you may have heard in the first segment, we're doing multiple shows a day now, but not in the summertime. It's certainly a topic that's been on the mind of Lakers fans. So yeah, I agree with you. This was as good of a game as Jaxson has played this season, in a season where he's played a lot of good games.
He's been really good this year.
Yeah, he has. And I think that's part of the conversation that you're really leading into there. But, Rui,
plus 26 in this game, man.
That's excellent. Played 34 minutes too. It's like 34 minutes for him is a lot, even when, he has to start games because, the starting center is out for whatever reason, that kind of heavy minutes is the exception for sure, and not the rule with someone like Jaxson. Rui Hachimura, 21 points, very strong. This is like a very Rui line. 21 points, 9 of 13 from the floor, 3 of 4 from 3-point range, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. But he was active and he was working. Rui actually boxes out. He's not a great rebounder. Yes, he does box out. His box out rates, if you can find those numbers, are I believe, last time I checked, at least pretty good. I thought, when I mentioned AR, perfectly good performance from him over 28 minutes. But Luke Kennard.
Yes, he did.
For a lot of the game, the team's leading rebounder, before LeBron kind of started catching up on the way to the triple-double, the team's leading rebounder was Luke Kennard. He had 9 points. He didn't take a ton of shots, and not in a keeps passing up opportunities kind of way. But he had 7 rebounds, 3 assists. He was a plus 13 in 18 minutes. He is a really smart. I realize it's, you're starting to play into stereotypes when you call the white guy with thinning hair, who's a marksman shooter, a smart basketball player. But he is. I mean, he just does a lot of stuff that, depending on what your team needs are, really make a difference. The fact that he
particularly if they're sneaky athleticism or bringing the intangibles.
That's right.
If you're looking for someone who plays the right way, may I introduce you to Luke
somebody who plays the accordion. It looks like he might play that too.
It was a good game from Kennard. I thought Vando was a really nice game for Jared Vanderbilt as well.
It was. And so, like, you mentioned that before, like getting the supporting performances is just really, it's a big deal. And that can be points, that can be rebounds, it can be strong defense, not turning the ball over, whatever it might be. The proverbial stars in their roles, that is particularly necessary with Luka out of the lineup. Because you don't, AR is still, they're trying to keep him under 30 minutes a night. And you just don't want to have LeBron carry you. Like you said, there's a difference between leading the team and carrying the team. And you don't want to make LeBron carry you very much anymore.
No, and he didn't in this game. And look, the quality of opponent matters for the games that you don't have Luka. We saw against the Thunder, LeBron and Austin both struggled to put forth complete games, but that's also against a team that a lot of people think at full strength has a really good shot at repeating. But games like this against the Mavericks are in their own right just as important, because those are the games that you have to win. There are no excuses for not winning this game. So it's in its own right just as important for LeBron to lead the Lakers the way he did tonight. It was just a really good performance from him.
Health updates plus. How do we feel about 33-21 at the break? Talk about that next.
Locked On Lakers is brought to you by Game Time. There is nothing like being in an NBA arena, the crowd, the energy, the moment. But getting tickets not always so simple, and that's why Game Time has become the go-to app for scoring tickets fast without a hassle. Puts the advantage back where it belongs, with you, the fans. Regain your power. You can pull up the Game Time app, pick an upcoming NBA game, and you got tickets locked in within minutes. And with the all-in price up front, there's no surprise fees at checkout. There's no, wait, what the hell was that charge? I don't remember that. Game Time features like seat views make your decision of where you want to buy those tickets really easy before buying, especially with an app that's super user-friendly and super user-intuitive. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. That's code LOCKEDON for $20 off. That's code locked on, $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. And remember, it's gametime.co, not .com.
JJ said, Andy, before the game that they expect Luka to be okay coming out of the break. I get a little squeamish when I get health updates from the Lakers. Still don't totally trust them when they tell me things.
Totally. You don't totally trust them?
Don't. I'm a generally trusting person. I generally give people the benefit of the doubt. My wife thinks every time I leave the house, I'm going to sell, the family cow for some magic beans.
Well, thank God I'm the other host of the show, because I don't even partially trust them. Yeah. I don't believe a word they say.
And also, it worked out, right? In that story, like they sold the magic beans, he ends up getting the golden goose, and they get rich, right?
I don't remember.
I forget how it ends. Most of those stories had really gruesome endings, so maybe I'm remembering the sanitized version. But let's assume that, there, I guess, at least was a possibility before Thursday night that Luka might be able to play in this game. We all know that he is very much trying to get himself in a position to participate, was the word that I saw. used for Sunday's game, not play. And those, I feel like those two things are not the same thing.
You can operate the t-shirt gun.
No, I feel like the All-Star game is the kind of game that you can participate in without really playing.
You know what, though? All joking aside, if Luka plays 5 minutes in this, I think the odds are pretty high he will come out of it okay. It is optically not a great look for him to have missed 4 straight games and then appear in this game. Whether you think it ultimately is consequential or matters or not, I can tell you the optics are not going to go over well with Laker fans because I've heard from enough of them.
Well, I guess. I don't know if I agree with that assessment. Like, it depends. If he plays 35 minutes and, you know, he takes the floor doing like triple backflips and things like, okay, yeah, like you should have been playing earlier than that. If he comes out, plays 5 minutes, and basically olays his way through that, which is probably what it would look like, that's when I think fans need to step back and understand when guys feel like they have larger commitments to the league, to their fan base.
I'm not saying
particularly a guy like Luka. I'm not arguing with you. I'm arguing with those people whose argument you are conveying. I don't have a problem with that. And you know, again, remember who Luka is. Remember kind of who he represents and where he comes from and the importance that he has, and he understands that he has, you know, internationally and all these other things.
I think the counter argument would be if those obligations can be fulfilled by 5 minutes of screwing around, then how big of an obligation is it really? You know what I mean? Like, really, what is?
No, but I get it, but it is appearing in the game. It is participating in the game and paying off even a little bit. But again, I do maintain that what he does in that game will probably be less work than he would be doing in his treatment and rehab otherwise. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. The other thing was DeAndre Ayton got a scan on his knee, and it came back clean, is what is the lingo that was used there. Again, the hope is that Ayton will be healthy and available coming out of the break. So if all of that happens, Andy,
and if he's not, that becomes legitimately worrisome.
Oh yeah, no, now we're getting into Kendrick Nunn territory.
Well, just that'll be like 2-ish weeks or so, having played one game. And if he's still not ready from there, then I realize the MRI came back clean, but something isn't right. Maybe they
put him in the wrong scan. I don't know. But yeah, you're right. But if he comes back healthy, the Lakers, if I'm not mistaken, would, if both those guys are back, finally have a full team and could finally get the big three on the floor and playing together and trying to push to the finish line with 28, I believe it would be 28 games left. These guys have not played together. If you are looking for reasons to be encouraged by a 33-21 record, and you can look at the number of games missed by their stars this year, and that is one of those places that can make you feel significantly better. LeBron's missed 18, Luka's missed 12, Austin's missed 26. Like, that's a lot of missed games from your three best players on a top heavy roster, and you're still 33-21. You're still in the mix for the top 4.
This has been a good season, like particularly through the lens of everything you're describing. If you're viewing this with any realistic expectations, they've done very well. Have they been exceptionally impressive against elite competition? No. Do they seem like an elite team, waiting in the wings just to get everybody back and then all of a sudden all the problems are solved? Also no. But how they have managed to get through this season, double-digit games above 500 with all of the obstacles that you are describing, and even like when LeBron is back, you have to have those constant considerations of how you manage him at his age and his mileage through a season. We've had Luka on minutes limits. We've had Austin on minutes limits. We've had Rui on minutes limits. Like that, they've managed to do all of this. And I
they've had Dalton on minutes limits.
Yeah, I
a different kind, but
I heard Zach Lowe talk about this on the most recent episode of Low Post podcast. He's like, somehow the Lakers managed to keep staying in the top 6 every time it seems like they're about to fall. And he's like, that may sound like faint praise, but it's not. Like they are managing to make this thing work. And, I realize that Laker fans, they are, it's like a Pavlovian type thing where your expectation is always championship. And that's the way you evaluate everything. And, for what it's worth, I've said before that I don't think that is the realistic or healthy or sometimes even useful way to evaluate a season, because it's just not how the world actually works. But you can have a good season without it being championship worthy, particularly when everyone knows this has been kind of a gap year, because they've recognized this offseason is where we think we can do the most effective work, really building a championship roster around Luka.
Yeah.
But if you are kind of biding your time up to that point, you could do it a hell of a lot worse in the way they have this season.
I look at it this way. Like, do I believe the Lakers can play with the level of consistency required to reach a finals? No, I don't. Certainly not when you factor in they're going to have to beat probably Oklahoma City somewhere in there. You'd have to beat either Minnesota or Denver, probably somewhere in there, or Houston or something like that. You have to beat 2 or 3 really good teams, one of which is elite when everybody's available. And I just don't think the Lakers have shown that level of consistency. If the question is, do I think the Lakers could play consistently enough if they have their big 3 healthy and all that stuff for one series to beat any of the teams in the top 8? My answer to that is yes. I think the Lakers for a series could be a very dangerous team. And, one series can turn into 2 series. In any individual series, the Lakers are going to be a very dangerous team if everybody's healthy, because they're going to go into a series with Luka Dončić, who is playing MVP caliber basketball, even if he's not going to win the MVP, and I don't think he will. You're going to have Austin Reeves, who is playing all-star caliber basketball, even though he's not going to make the all-star team because of the injury. And you have LeBron James, who is an all-star. Like, he made the all-star team. Like, is he playing at his peak? No. Is he, if you want to think of him kind of as the third best player, he's a pretty good third best player. And, it is reasonable to believe that he could elevate a little bit in the playoffs, just based on previous performance. So in any given series, and that's not nothing to look forward to. If you're a Lakers fan going into the postseason, leave yourself open to a surprise.
I think possibilities are there. I think what's going to get in their way, even in the first round, whoever they're playing, is just a lot of their opponents will have, I think, a higher margin for error than that.
Yes, absolutely.
And they will be forced to play at the top of their game for more of the 48 minutes than, I would say, somewhere between 80 to 100% of whoever of their likely opponents in the first round. Yeah. But then it becomes on them to actually do it. It becomes on Austin to raise his level in the playoffs from what we saw last year, which was not great for him. It's on LeBron to be able to summon what is still left in the tank in the most important moments, because I thought last year in the playoffs he got tired. It's on Luka to be the playoff riser that he's been throughout his career. And everybody, and everybody has to raise it up more, because again, their ceiling is not as high as they want it to be. And also their floor is not as high as I think everyone expected. But to our original point, still a good team. They're a good team.
I think what we're going to find is this is just going to be one of those situations when they get in the playoffs where Luka is going to have to be like he was leading Dallas to the finals, where he was just at a different level. And that is the thing that I think is going to elevate the Lakers potentially. Certainly, if they're going to make a run through more than one round, it's going to be ultimately on the back of Luka doing kind of super Luka stuff, which he is absolutely capable of. But the first things first, they got to get healthy over the break. We are looking forward to that. Locked On Lakers on YouTube. So we can go hang out with over 37,000 subscribers to the channel. I forgot to mention the Everydayer Club. Check out the show notes if you'd like to find out more about that. You get Discord access, talk to us, talk to other hosts. You also can get the show ad-free. It's $5 a month, $50 a year. Sign up if you're interested. Don't if you're not. We will love you all the same. We'll see everyone next time.